different than discipline. It's the work you're doing with yourself when nobody else is around. And that mind could easily talk you out of it. And to have a good quality workout. Every day is different. I don't mean you got to push hard every day. But still, a lot of people think they're meditating because they spend a lot of time alone, but it's still not quality on what it could be if they was with a group. So that's why the vehicle of self-discipline is so important. Now, Jennifer said something that was real key. She said, I am going to take advantage of this time period that we are living out here in Ehrenball in this perfect situation where you can work on yourself. I'm going to take advantage of it. On a breatharian journey, that's how you should think mostly all the time. Because every time you're going to be in key situations that your whole life is really set up for your growth. So you're taking advantage from situation to situation to situation so you can keep on growing. A lot of people's problem is, I'll start when I'm in a better situation. I'll start when this will happen. They keep putting off and putting off, not realizing that they're in the best situation now to start developing until they could go somewhere else. Perfect health is time management. What are you doing with your time? Yeah. And the routine just ain't gonna magically pop in your hands. You have to work for it. You have to work for it.
I was working with a client who's waiting to reunite with her boyfriend.
Right.
And the government was not letting her leave Australia to come to Israel. And so she's like so overwhelmed every day, day in, day out. And
right.
she's like, I'll be okay. All I need is to be reunited with him. And
oh my gosh.
I'll be okay when that happens.
When that happens, I'll be okay just to reunite with somebody. But every day, she's wasting time.
Yeah.
Now, during the lockdown, some people, the lockdown was bad for it. Some people took advantage of it. In the circles those I was in, people took advantage of it. I actually went to this hostel in Mumbai. So, of course, there was a lockdown. There's restrictions on where you could go out and stuff like this. But I'm glad I was with a good group of people. Now, they were partiers on one level, but all of them been introduced to some type of yoga, some type of meditation, some type of working out. So they decided to work as a group and work on themselves. And there's one guy, this is what he said. I'm kind of glad lockdown came, because if it wasn't, I'll be partying every night, smelling like alcohol every single day. And as you see him week after week, you see him getting stronger, bigger, looking better. He took advantage of the opportunity. This is what we talk about. Take advantage of the time. And Jennifer said something real key. Again, she said if I don't...
start recording myself.
Oh, man.
We need to all start a YouTube channel after this.
All start a YouTube channel to talk to yourself. To remind you.
I'm not active, it's not for my kids.
But she said something real key that people hate to admit. She said, if I don't take advantage of the time now, I never will. Some people think I can start up when I'm ready or whenever. The time is in your face now. Or you never will, because life does have a tendency to change. Everybody's into it. And you might not be in that perfect situation that you should have took advantage of before to develop yourself. You let it pass you by. And I see it take place all the time. I remember one time I was here in India, this woman was hosting a retreat, but she let her ego get in the way because she's a professional meditator. In her mind,
what does that even mean?
What'd that even mean?
Professional meditator.
She was a professional meditator, had her chest stuck out. Looking at me, you can't teach me nothing, Elitom.
Regular they are doing like all this completely with ritual things like.
Well, this is what happened. So anyway, I'm there for weeks, right next to her. We never really communicated because she's a professional meditator. But I'm working with all these other people and everybody else is moving energies, growing. Then when I finally got a chance to leave from there, and that's where a level of, I got noticed by other people who wanted me. I'm out of there now. It dawned on her, that man was right in front of me. And I let him pass me by, and I had access to him every day. It popped in her mind. Now, I ain't talking about me. That's just talking about the situation was set up perfect, where everybody was working on themselves. We weren't playing. And she just let it pass her by. And then she wanted to play catch up. Track me down, spend money to see where I'm going to next. But it was right in your face in your own backyard. We do that all the time. Or you can do it. So you got to be sensitive to always look in every situation you at, every environment, to know that that is the place where the higher forces have you to take advantage of so you can grow. That's the bulk of the Breatharian journey. It never ends. It's an everyday decision-making process. There is no hump and all of a sudden you're not going to be tempted no more. Now, there's different types of temptations. It depends what level you're on. Nobody gets away. One temptation for one person that's highly evolved is different than a person who's not. But they're still going through their stuff. Man, you got to realize this.
It's kind of like the higher, like you said, the higher voices make you realize that in the now there's people around you making you work. But then at the same time, sometimes through meditation, you like get this inspiration. I have to move.
Right.
I have to move.
And when it's time for you to move, you know it. Everything falls in place. There's a negative force that you just can't feel comfortable where you're at, and it's time to go. And that's what they call the left hand of God. The right hand of God is when everything flows in place, and you know that's your transition to move. The left hand is God is when you run into negativity in life over and over again. It's saying that you're not supposed to be there. Get out. Go. Stop trying to fight it. Leave them alone. Some people, I got to fight for my rights. I got to stay. All you're doing is wasting time again. The left hand of God is moving you on. That was a shocker, like a mouse hitting a wall, saying, I don't want you to go this way. I want you to go that way. That's why the universe is user-friendly. Step by step, you're being guided when you understand this. Now we're going to hit the disciple level. There is a disciple level in spiritual growth. It's just not for the Bible, because we heard about the 12 disciples. There's a disciple level. Well, the root word of disciple is discipline. That's a man or woman who has great discipline. That's a disciple. Great discipline, not playing around. Now, in order to get to that level, that's why it's a degree. It just don't pop in your hands. The discipline has to be developed when you enter your art. So that's why that don't come into play until you mastered your physical, emotional, and mental bodies. Until they get mastered. You can't just say one day I'm going to be a disciple, but you can't even back up from the table. That's not a disciple. You're just learning. You don't even know what to eat and you're still debating, arguing about meat and protein and stuff. That's not a disciple. A disciple is a person who got some, stripes on their arm. They learned some things. They've been around the corner a few times. They know how to meditate. Oh man, they know to take advantage of the time. That's a disciple. Because for you to master your physical, emotional, and mental body, that took a lot of work. 99% of humanity don't even want to take on that challenge. That's a big number, ain't it? And there's 7 billion people on the planet, if not more. Most of them don't even want to take that challenge on, so you bold for just taking it on. I'm going to transform myself. Everybody calling you crazy, pointing the finger. It don't take all that. As time goes on, they looking at you, bragging about you, all that old foolishness. That's childish stuff. Everybody know they need to work on themselves and need to be quiet. Don't even know what a protein or a vitamin is. You know you don't. You read it out of a book. Go shut up and sit down.
Because most of the people that talk about this don't even know themselves and they're not that healthy anyway.
And they ain't even healthy no way.
But I think only the people with purpose can talk about protein, right? Like you told, right? Bodybuilders.
Why even talk about it?
No, bodybuilders and all, like, I mean, you told that they can eat more, right? Because
they want to get bigger.
They want to get bigger.
And then you're just saying protein is food in general.
No,
We might as well say it. You know why? Because there was a time they said you only could get your protein from meat.
Yeah.
But now, when you put up protein, where you could get it from plants,
From
they
food
got a whole list.
Yeah.
So is the world.
Yeah.
And every food has protein.
Everything. See, that's the secret.
But it's made in our
And it's made in the brain. Then we see the information.
Yeah.
You have protein. If an animal ate you for protein, you meat, ain't you? See, we've been thinking stupid. All it's doing is going in full circle. You are protein.
keep all the food up.
Bugs like eating you.
And that's why it's a protein overdose when we eat food that tells us information.
Oh my gosh. Listen what Jennifer said. That's why you have a protein overdose so you get information from eating food.
You can take food up. Cloudiness, clarity.
Cloudiness, clarity of thought, because your body is your mind. Of course there's going to be an effect. Oh man.
You also want that?
So a disciple is a person of discipline. Great discipline. You ain't got to tell them to fast. Or you should fast. They always take retreats. Yeah, they do. A disciple so dedicated, working on themselves mean more than a career, job, materialism, and everything else. That's a disciple. That's why when they talked about the disciples in the Bible, they left everything they had to follow Jesus. That's a disciple. That's a person who woke up, they gave up everything to follow the light. All they care about is cultivation. Everything else is secondary. Now notice I ain't said it didn't matter. I said it's secondary.
You know the power of affirmation. Just yesterday we were talking.
Yeah.
And before I even end up being yoga teacher and stuff, because it was never in my intention or anything.
Right.
When I start waking up to the reality and changing my diet and stuff like this, I was walking every day.
Right.
In the big city, I was living in Liverpool that time, super cold, and I was on raw food diet also, start raw food diet, and I was telling to myself, my life is a retreat. I live in beautiful hot countries. I travel the world wherever I want.
Right.
My job is the purpose of my life, and I'm creating reality so I can keep growing more and more, and this is happening.
And that was a great
happening 1 year
realization.
after.
1 year ago you were like,
Yeah, 1 year after it was already
This is what we're
happening,
talking
and
about.
I realized that I was living in Thailand, living on the beach, and it was
And notice,
happening now.
and notice when she said that, before she even started that story, she said, I was walking every day, changing my diet, doing this and that, and then the realization hit her.
Exactly.
It ain't happened when she was sitting watching Netflix, watching,
When you
TV.
said it starts with diet and exercise, exactly.
Falls in
It
place.
starts with yoga for me, yoga from YouTube, yoga for beginners, and then information were coming through meditation videos.
Right.
Raw, stuff
My
like
life's a retreat. That's a disciple. Its life is a retreat.
So
Because-
when did it happen? How long ago?
I was doing affirmations 5 years ago, and 4 years ago, 4.5 now. I travel full time.
Now notice we live in an age where people like to say, you know, due to rebellion, we understand. I don't like to follow. I don't follow nobody.
But
I,
everyone.
I teach myself. I'm my own teacher.
It's also nice, but you need to have
It's nice, but yeah, let's listen at it now. But when a person's talking like that, it's because they still don't understand the disciple levels. They ain't there yet. They're still confused. They've been hurt. That's all that is.
And we're programmed anyway from birth, so we are following someone.
You are being influenced all the time by somebody. So that's why there is some people, everybody got light in them, right? There is some people have bigger light than others.
Yes.
They
and
do.
We all walk each other home, you know? Like different information. You say something, I'm like...
All like
"Oh,
light
I
bulbs.
say something," yeah. And when you're thinking you know everything best, you're close
And
to
when you
yourself.
see somebody with a bigger glow of a light than you do, it speaks for itself. And you should want to emulate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want what they got. Tell me the secret. That don't mean you got to put allegiance and follow them for the rest of your life. At least talk to them, get to know them, trade the WhatsApp number. What did you do to get your light shining like that? Believe me, it just didn't happen from them sitting there eating a hamburger watching Netflix. So a disciple keeps an eye out for that. Everybody has energy, but when you feel an energy that's more powerful than yours, you just keep living.
But like when we go back to our family and it is really tough to maintain that discipline. Like,
Well, we ain't even looking at that no more.
Yeah.
You got past that humping. You made it past the physical body, emotional, and the mental. You conquered that. So it don't even matter what family's saying no more. My family don't bother me one bit.
And this is also interesting because
did
they
in the
were
beginning.
bothering me for so long.
Right.
And now when I'm so grounded, not at all.
When you're grounded, it shouldn't bother you no more.
Yeah.
I don't even judge them. Keep on eating up the ribs and all that. I love you still. It's over with. You're my family. I love you. How should that bother you? Oh, you're not eating? No, not today. It's over with. The conversation, what we also going to talk about? And they like, I said, okay, I see you because you're doing it too. It don't even work like that. Now, that's foolish when we get to talk about how you handle your family and friends. That's how you handle it. Be who you are. They're going to have to accept you sooner or later anyway.
And if they don't,
And if they don't,
so what?
so what? You ain't do nothing wrong, but cared about yourself. That's something, ain't it? I cared about myself. You helping them. You breaking a family curse. They know it. That's why as soon as you leave, they probably be like, woo, I'm glad somebody at least doing something. Woo. Right, exactly like that.
On my head like this, but then telling to my mom, oh,
Yeah, bragging about you to somebody else. Well, I know somebody doing it right in my family. I know them. Oh, man. So a disciple is a follower or a pupil of the light. It ain't got nothing to do with the people. It's the light. They are a follower or pupil, straight up. They ain't trying to be no leader. We're,
actually, correct definition. It's certainly the follower of the light.
Disciple is a follower.
yeah. Huh?
Disciple is a follower.
As a follower or a pupil of the light. Because we're receptive vehicles. What makes them a disciple, they learn how to straight up receive the light, receive the message. That's all they see. Every day is giving you a message, every day is talking to you. There's a saying that says, nature is talking for those who are listening. A disciple's into that. Talking to trees and stuff, everybody else think you crazy. The tree just talked to me.
I've got a lot of tree friends.
Yes.
Like confidants at tree.
Right.
I was saying the story this morning. I woke up and I was doing all my meditation and like sun gazing and everything, and then suddenly I heard Elitom's voice, like they were like preparing to leave, and then this bird came and sat there and like rah, 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 like an alarm, like talking to me, like okay, it's time. So
Right.
get ready. And I didn't realize how late it was. it was almost like 32. And I was like,
And the bird was at,
the bird was talking.
the bird was talking to her. She noticed that. It wasn't no coincidence. You talking to animals, plant life, everything's talking to you. They say, get up. Get up, Linda.
Come on, time to go.
Time to go. They're down there on the beach right now. I just flew from there.
We have a friend called Raven, and every time the crow, the raven comes, I was like, oh yeah, Raven's here. He's talking
Oh,
to
man. Man. Now listen at this. And the disciple is first a believer who decided to exercise their faith. See, we deal with knowledge. It ain't like we just jumped into this. You know, sometimes we like to say it. But you was introduced to it a certain type of way.
Say that again. A disciple is...
A disciple is just a believer who decided to exercise their faith.
Wow.
I mean, all these words, sentences are like so true.
It's so true, ain't it?
And
They decided, right? Everybody got the memo to exercise on the planet, but you decided to really put it to the test.
You remember I told you I had this healing crisis when I stopped eating McDonald's and stuff. In 1 year, I was like covered in stuff and I was putting on weight and like all my body system was. But I believe this is healing me. And everyone was saying, "Are you crazy? What are you doing to yourself? You were so pretty. Now you look so ugly." Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I knew I'm just gonna go through it. I'm just gonna go.
You're going to keep on going through because you felt something was there calling you. She wanted to be a disciple.
My body was ruined, but I felt amazing.
Exercising her faith.
Like,
And they say, right. And a true disciple is just not a student or a learner. Sometimes we like to say we're all still students, you know, in life, but they are a follower. They ain't looking for to be a leader all the time. You know, like how people always want to lead something. They are a follower. I'm here to follow who? Their higher self.
yeah.
That's why it's called your higher self. It's you, but it's higher. And it's working through people, animals, plants, and you realize this. So you became a straight up follower. Trusting in the universe, trusting yourself, trusting your situation so you can grow. But you can't achieve those levels until you first mastered the physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body. Because if you don't, you'll be sitting there, didn't conquer your emotions. You're angry, can't see. You would have told the crow to shut up this morning, try to wake you up, threw a shoe at it. That's what it would have happened. Blaming everybody. That's not a disciple. That person, matter of fact, this is what they say in esoteric language. 99.9% of humanity is on probation. They're not even in the spiritual game. They're under an illusion thinking they are. That's why a disciple is different than a believer, because they decided to exercise, put to use the principles to make them manifest.
Of humanity is in?
Probation. They ain't even called by the higher light. They got other things on their mind. You can tell by the way they talk. So it's a person who applies what they learn. When I took martial arts, we'll learn a new move in class. And by next week when we meet again, you can tell who was practicing on that move when they took it home. Some people just wait till they come to class again, and it shows. They took it home with them and got good and better, and they left them light years apart. Wasn't even in the same league, even though you're in the same class. And I like how the Chinese concept was. When I was in America, yeah, I did try to take this Chinese language class. Ni hao, I do know how to say that. So anyway, some students said to the teacher, "Is you gonna give us homework?" She said, "In China, they don't give out homework." What you mean? What we just went over in class, you should know to go study that. Well, I need to tell you to go read chapter such and such and make sure you write down such and such, that's stupid.
Yeah.
What we just talked about was the homework. You go study what we talked about. I said, go, good for you. That makes sense. Got to give you an assignment. That was the assignment. What you think we was doing? Oh, man. Now listen at this. And the reason why a person wants to become a follower is because a disciple of Christ, the only reason why they followed Jesus because they wanted to become Christ. So when we talk about in the New Age movement, your higher self, higher consciousness, the only reason you're following it is to merge and become one with it. You want to become that, not just keep following it. Or pick the bits and pieces you want and then all that other stuff what people like doing. You want to become it. One with the light. A God. Let's don't even sugarcoat it. You're following God to become God. That's the only reason why you're doing it. But why even do it? That's why I say about yoga. Food freedom is at the 3rd level. And since we've been studying, then at the end they say, when you open up those channels through breath work and exercises, you will get supernatural powers into immortality and liberation. That should be your full goal to take yoga. Or why are you doing it? A disciple, that's how a disciple thinks. I'm here with my mat so I can become God. I don't want to die. Everybody got to die, not me. That's why I'm taking yoga. You can be straight on serious face. Man, it's serious. It's serious, ain't it?
That's what I came to India. I was like, yeah, in Europe, I would not be that bad.
Now look at that's why she
Yeah.
came to India.
Yeah.
India do have a culture that support what you want to do. That's one thing about India.
Brings you to basic because we are like, we think we're so high up because of technology and everything.
Yeah.
We forgot the basics.
But most of the Indians don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't
but
follow
in
it.
India, if I was to go around and say, oh, who are you? And I can say, oh, I'm Devi, I'm goddess, they'll say, yeah, you are.
Oh
If I
man.
said that in England, they might beat me up and put me in
they'd be
a
like,
psychological
"She's
ward.
mental."
Yeah. At least there's a consciousness of it.
Yeah.
Right. There's a consciousness to support what you want to do. That's something,
When
man.
my family say, you're crazy, you teach yoga in third world country, living out your dream life. And I'm like,
Well, so
third world country, who is the third world? Look at me, where I am. Look
Right.
at you, where you are. Who is the third world?
now listen at this. The disciple of Christ is becoming a reincarnation of Christ through emptying out themselves. The disciple of Christ is becoming a reincarnation of Christ by emptying out themselves. That's why we're letting go of things.
Being born again.
Being born again. You got an incarnation. Okay, we incarnated. But you're going to reincarnate. So when we talk about past lives, we don't need to play that mess that I was living 200 years ago. That wasn't me. I'm here right now, and I'm emptying myself out now so I could go with the higher consciousness. I don't care about nobody else. The bigger picture. The microcosm with the macrocosm. There's no separation. So I can live a better life. All you know is life. You don't know death. When did you die? We ain't talking about the little traumas we went through. That's all that was. You so tough, you made it through that. Flying colors. It's hard to kill you. A human being don't die only till they give up the will to die. You hard to kill. That's something, ain't it? And you are becoming a reincarnation of the Christ consciousness. Let's make it make sense. the higher mind, no matter what your word you use, through emptying out. That means you're getting rid of your old mind. That mind that the world picked up through the education system. Some man tried to challenge me on social media. Talk about carbohydrates, this is how it works. And you go, I looked at this, and I'm saying you can get everything you need from the air. We talking something else. We ain't talking that foolishness he talking. And I looked at his Facebook picture, it said it all. He don't have a clue what a diet change is. And he's young too. If he don't make no changes now, I already know where he's gonna be 10 years from now. My body already put his to shame. He already lost. But we didn't have to debate no more. We somewhere else. Because we're disciples. That's where we're going. So we can reincarnate our higher consciousness to manifest itself fully in this plane.
I have a question. I had this experience while fasting.
I've
And
experienced
since
by
then-
fasting.
And since then, I have this like, every time I'm closing my eyes, I see light. Does that mean that the cells are transformating? And I mean, did you have this transition like from darkness to light? Because I was in a very dark space.
Well, you are getting more light into the body. We use that term, but yes, you are lightening up.
Because I used to be like, when I used to meditate, I could not meditate when it was dark because I was scared.
Right.
Closing my eyes and I see blood and stuff like this, like very
And you
dark
just don't
space.
see with your physical eyes. And even your pineal gland got optic nerves around it. Optic means where it can basically, that's why they call it an eye. So yeah, you see light inside you when you close your eyes. Everybody does. It's just you will see more when you're into the practices. You're lighting up.
So that's true. Then you
Yeah.
close your eyes and you see lighter and lighter. Because I could see even January this year, a little light, and now I'm closing and it's shining.
So that's why we got that word enlightenment. Not only it means visible light, but it also means to feel lighter. Remember when we said how you should feel when you raise your vibration? When you raise your vibration, you should feel lighter in the physical body, the emotional, and the mental bodies, you should feel lighter. And you should have little or no discomfort in the physical body. So people who sick, this isn't no put down. They're not fully enlightened yet. You should be able to heal yourself. You got to come out of that. That's how you know a person's enlightened. They have perfect health. So people say, how can you not eat and be, healthy and looking like that? Because I'm enlightened. Are you a enlightened being? Yes, I am. The body feels light. It got more light into it. We manifested it because I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a disciple. Why wouldn't you be? See how we start talking?
Even when I talk to people, I keep closing my eyes just to remember that I'm alive,
Everybody else trying to find life in something else. Dead statues. A pie. We don't care nothing about that no more. They already told you fasting is associated with all the religions on the planet and spirituality. It was there for a reason. Even when we look at some of the holy days, no matter what culture you go to, it's around a certain time period when you look at it. Diwali just passed. What was that dealing with? A light festival. Literally. Hanukkah's here. Then you got what? Hanukkah with the 7 candles. They're going to wear 7 again, 7 chakras. You can't get away from it. They're talking about our development.
So light would also be called truth.
Yep. Light is truth,
So the light will set you free.
spirit, all of this.
Know the light, and the light will set you free.
All the same words. Now, how she said these play on words, the light also means truth. It also means spirit. When you read the Old Testament, you'll see words like fire. That means the same thing. Fire is light, is spirit. The cosmic waters. So they're using different words, but they all talk about the same thing. That's what a spiritual person deals with. That's what a disciple deals with. That's why you think differently than the other person. You ain't talking on that chemical level. You're dealing with straight up light. Straight up light. You're a light being. That's your foundation. Everything else comes secondary. Now listen at this. This is real key. Because a lot of people, through superstition, we was talking about this. A lot of people think people putting curses on them. They understand superstitious thoughts because things are bad happening to them and all this other stuff. Now listen at what they say on this. Whoa. Now discipline, this is the root word of disciple. It's the practice of training people to obey rules for a code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience.
Say that again.
The practice of training people to obey rules for a code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. Now this is key. We're going to relook at this. Now our bodies are under
Not obeying.
universal laws.
So inflammation is
Is a punishment from disobedience. Hear what she said? Inflammation is a punishment through disobedience. High blood pressure is a punishment from disobedience. Diabetes is a punishment for disobedience. But did God do that to you? You did it to yourself for breaking the rules or the code. Death is a punishment from disobedience. The organism was given all these chances, all these warnings, but they chose not to do it. So death took place.
And
So-
really disobedience to the light.
Yeah. Disobedience of blocking the light. You don't want to come into your true nature. Wow. Oh, did we say that? So the human being is being destroyed from inert energy. That's what energy is closing in on itself. Self-destruction through self-deception. Because the body's talking to you. You can't even blame the people you following no more. When I was with the vegan community, yes, I had improvements on my body from when I was eating meat. But I still had some things going on with my body where I had to move on. I was bold enough to stand up to the order and say, no, I got to move on because this isn't the highest diet. Everybody else stood there, you got to be obedient to them. And their bodies is hurting. Their main leader is dead at age 74. Peace be upon him. I'm not talking about him, but that's what happened. And he killed himself through disobedience of the light. Oh, we coming strong now, ain't we?
Wow.
So that's why you want to be a disciple and gain some discipline because you learned the rules and the codes that creation is not changing them. It did not make your lungs into a chimney. It ain't changing.
Then why, like we say, like go slow. If you are like in this way or something they are doing, then we say like, no, we can have that experience also. But this is not like we are against discipline. Like we have discipline for like I have to eat only fruits like that. And if I'm going to cook, suppose, so is this not like I'm against my discipline?
No, you are in the process of.
So
You're going through a process.
You are going through your journey.
But you are an animal, you have a rat, and you want to train him to do stuff, you're not going to do it every day within one day. Each time. So you need to,
Right.
and you do it from the act of self-love. I know where I'm going today, I'm easing off a little bit just to feel better, because maybe something is going on. Sometimes I need this to just cope with.
Because you're not there yet.
Yeah.
You're not the full light animal yet that's bringing in that big beam yet. You're developing into it. We are coming from, that's why they give us the image of the full lotus. The lotus is a beautiful flower that opens up, but it comes out of the muck and the mire, dirty water.
Yeah.
We came from a low vibration. So you're growing into your discipleship. That's why it don't come until the mastery of the physical, emotional, and the mental bodies. That's why it comes afterwards. You got it now. And even to get to that point, that means that you have some type of self-realization. You realize how things can affect you. You realize your actions. You realize your thoughts. That's self-realization.
And you know, I'm so grateful for every single experience. And when I fell off this bike, and that's why they were checking if I'm sane, because I was laughing. I was saying, at least I didn't break anything.
Right.
And now I can see, if this never happened, I would not know how much inflammation goes to my body.
Yeah.
And yesterday I ate only a little bit, and there was everything, chapatis, vegan kebabs, it was like whole vegan party, you know. I only ate a little bit.
Right.
So much inflammation.
As you see, she's testing herself. See, you could go off of what somebody else say. You still don't know. You have to go through your own experience. Now she's weighing it. Okay, and a year from now she'll be saying, I remember when I fell off a bike and I ate something and it flamed.
Yeah.
You know now. You just didn't get it out of no book. Experience is king.
Yeah.
So that's helped you with your self-realization and makes you into a stronger disciple.
Yeah, but even bad things when they happen to you, don't judge them as bad because they might be blessings.
Yeah.
You're learning from it. Everything is good. Not like how she said that, to be grateful. And the thing I said to her when she came limping that day, well, I'm glad you're in one piece.
Yeah. Yeah. And I said to you, I'm glad too.
Right.
I didn't break
Those little
anything.
wounds right there, she'll have new skin in 30 days, if not before. That's how we are. Now this is key. So self-realization comes before self-actualization. So a disciple hits self-realization, where they start realizing their cause and an effect on creation and themselves.
Self-realization
Comes before self-actualization. Now, self-actualization is when you actually do, without a shadow of a doubt, know that you are obtaining God consciousness. You boldly say it. You don't even crack a smile. The only thing that exists is the creator and the creature. Nothing else exists.
Say that again. Self-actualization.
What did I say again? Self-actualization.
Self-realization comes before self-actualization. Self-actualization is
Yeah, that's as far as I
The
go.
self-actualization is when you are actually have taken on the God consciousness.
You don't actually.
You have taken it on. That's actualization. You realize that you're God. And the only thing that exists is the creator and the creature. That's why I can tell when people talk sometimes. They talk about they're enlightened, but the whole world is bad. Right there, that's not a God mind. See, a God mind, don't we say God is a high vibration? That means everything's a high vibration.
That's why
I don't care how we look at it.
Like here, everyone says like everyone is God.
Everybody's God.
Yeah, but we don't like actually get it. Why everyone is God?
And see how you use that word? We don't actually get it. You gotta act. When you actually get it, you self-actualize.
Okay.
You got the God mind. When you actually get it, we can say it. But when you actually get it, that's when you got the God mind. That don't mean you gotta go walk out on the. Well, if you gotta go walk on the ocean, okay, that's child's play again. When you actually got it, it's a whole nother thought.
Inside, but you have to open it up.
Yeah, it's here. Otherwise it will be good.
No, I mean, to share by yourself.
So to grow into that high frequency mind, because this is what the breatharian knowledge is telling you. Now this is what we were saying, why you need to take your time. The body is, at its foundation, works off of energy. It's an electrical system. Your chakras, your nadis, and your electromagnetic field is coming off the body. We got that. But when you deal with the higher frequencies that's in creation, they're way higher on what the body can hold right now. It'll hurt you. You can't hold it. You can bleed till you blue in the face. That's why you got work to do. You got to tear down the old temple and build a new, so it can hold more energy. It can get energetically stronger.
Okay, once we are physically okay with like our, if we have a diet, like in our diet, and we're physically okay, but still we are thinking, I mean, mentally not prepared. So how to
And
deal
that's
with
why
this?
your body craves food, because you need to have balance. Your body cannot go so much further than your mind.
Right. So you're talking on a level, if you're still craving it, you're not there yet.
And the brain takes energy.
See, the energy is consciousness. That's why you'll know. It ain't about me giving you a date. You want me to give you a date when it's supposed to happen? I don't know your personal lifestyle. You keep working with the practices, bringing that light into the body, there'll be a day you just won't crave it no more because you expanded your consciousness. We got to understand this. The electricity is a mind. Your mind is electrical. So if you bring more light into the body, it changes the thinking.
That's
So-
why we tell people to lighten up.
To lighten up. Lighten up. Get over it. It ain't that bad. You bringing all that heavy energy in. So of course you're going to go through the phase. That's what they call, like listen to this parable they gave us. Moses was taking the children of Israel out of bondage from Egypt. But they went through the wilderness before they went to the promised land. Everybody got their wilderness to go through. And some people went back. They liked it better being in bondage. Everybody don't make it. This sounds like a good knowledge. Everybody don't want to be food free and get themselves healthy and self-realized. They don't even want it. They going back to bondage. They was given a chance. They going back to bondage. Don't worry about it. You keep going through your wilderness. And within the wilderness, when they was given that story, there was trials, tests, all this other stuff to get the old mind out of you so you can bring the new mind on. That's what it's all for. You ain't going to make it to the promised land bringing the old mind with you. All you're going to do is create hell again. That's all you're going to do.
New wine, old wineskins.
I see many communities break away from the system with a good intention. And it took a couple decades. By the time I went through there, I could see what happened. They ain't really doing nothing differently than the world no more. All they doing is sponging off the world. That's what they're doing now. Talk about being free. You ain't free. You right at the outer edge, getting the leftovers, because you ain't in your full power yet. And they went back to what? I'm going to tell you what's happening. They getting high, drinking, and having sex. That's what it turned into. All these communities have broke away with good intentions because they didn't know what to do with the mind. They still carried the old mind with them and didn't know how to develop. They got hold of it. I'm free because I can walk around naked and stand next to a tree and smoke a joint. That's not what we're talking about. Oh man, did I say that? I'm talking about a straight up God consciousness that has the power to change the whole world. You'll have a city that's holistic after this mind get done. There'll be trees coming out the skyscraper. After we get done, there won't be a crime around. You won't even need a jail after we get done. That's what we're talking about. We ain't talking about that other stuff. They got hold of it because they didn't understand the power of the God mind. No put down. That's where it always ends. Man, did I say that? Yeah. So we say you're part of nature. Nature is self-sustaining, self-containing. They don't even need to. That's a waste of time picking fruits off a tree. I was in the Canary Islands and seeing how they was wasting all that time and energy. That took all day. Then they were stealing from each other. Yeah. Somebody owned that tree and he mad because they walked in their yard and took his. It shouldn't even be like that. Wow. We're talking about a God mind. When you're taking on a full
Oh,
consciousness.
this is so much making sense to me now. Listen, what you just asked about following the body and mind. So
Yeah.
that's why when you have craving, you can choose either have it so your body can match your mind, or do meditation so your mind can match your body.
Here we go. Because you got psychology and physiology. When you cater to the lusts of the physical body, it's a physiological nature now. But when you keep it in the mind, because it all religion stays in the mind, and keep it in the mind, it stays psychological. You kept it at the higher realm.
And then when I have cravings and I meditate, very different
Right.
memories and emotions are popping up to deal with.
But as soon as you bring it in the body, then that activate
Become
other
craving.
thoughts, other reactions. You're in another cycle. It becomes a physiological situation. But when you keep it in the mind, keep it up in heaven, transform the energy, it will dissipate and become something else. That's why you can't. It's two different levels of knowledge, from the chemical level to the energetic. I understand what they talk about glucose and all that. I understand. But they are catering to the physical body, that's the level is operating at. Chemicals do give off an energy, but energy also influences chemicals. We're talking from the energy level, which is the foundation. And that all starts in the mind again. But when you keep it in the mind, it stays psychological. But when you cater to it, to the physical body, it now became a physical situation. Whoa. And that's why they say when you overeat, you're hungry the next day. Why did you overeat? You sit up there hungry, craving like an animal. Can't even get your goals together.
Feel more bad, like when we
Now.
crave or when we eat something after a long time. It's like
So that's why when you're transforming into discipleship, into discipline, it's little by little, moderation. Because you don't want to burn yourself out. I used to see this all the time in martial arts. Every year we gave a big presentation on what you learned. People will come see us. And you can tell the people who practice all year long in moderation. But the people who didn't, you know what the thought that popped in their head? Okay, it's coming up now. I need to get everything in real fast and try to get my energy real high. Don't that sound familiar? Instant gratification. I'm going to get my energy real high within these next 2 weeks, 2 months, so I can have it like this. That's what their mind told them. But if they was practicing all year, they wouldn't have to go through that. So many people do that. You know what they do? Burn themselves out. It's too much energy the body can handle. It didn't turn out the way they did. You did too much in such a small space of time, and you was expecting some other results. That's what happens on the Breatharian journey all the time. But if you keep it in moderation, little by little, step by step, that gives the body time to heal itself, alter itself. And then by the time, you'd be surprised how fast time goes. By the time 6 months or a year go past, you're a whole nother being. And all you did was did little moderate steps. That's why they give us the story, the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise won the race. Let's put it like that. The tortoise won the race. That's because you planned on meditating for 3 days straight for 24 hours. Is it going to pick up the energy? No different.
Who is it, Thomas?
Tortoise, a turtle.
Oh,
The turtle and the hare, when you see that, you ever see that story growing up? One was going real fast and he got wore out.
Yeah, that's very important. I mean, very motivating. Go slow but go with the strength and continuously growing.
Now,
Straight and then just
this is going to get good. Because
falling out.
discipline, some people have more than others, but everybody has to work on it to get what we're talking about. You can develop it if you don't have it. So these are some keys to develop your discipline. Now this is good. Find out what your weaknesses are. There is things that trigger us. Everybody might have different ones. I had a friend that you better not be shopping around them and offer to buy them something. Other than that, they're a nice person. But they can't handle shopping.
Shopping.
It's real. That is a trigger to their spiritual growth. Stay away from shopping. See, everybody got different vices. But when you know what your weaknesses are, you can better deal with your discipline.
Discipline makes us strong.
Right. That's your vehicle for greater heights. Without discipline, you ain't getting the fullness of the God mind.
Control very nicely.
It's not going to happen.
I was there. I could have everything. That's really.
Previously, I also would. But yesterday, I was like, no chapatis, no pani puri.
Now check this out.
Now my body still tells that.
Uh-huh.
Starting after that lunch, I couldn't even eat anything. Even I had papaya and everything. I was like, I will eat
Uh-huh.
anything, but I could not because my
Right.
body was like completely.
Find out what your weaknesses are. Just like what I told you, avocados was my weakness. I'll be doing good. I'll be watching TV, and they'll show an avocado sale on TV. It already triggered me. I can't get it out of my head. I'll see it in the newspaper. 3 for $5. I'm hit. And then my body's taking me to the store. I can't stop it. But you know what your weakness is.
What about eating in meditation? Like thinking and feeling like you don't play.
That's it, man. Everybody got their stuff that triggers them. But you know you're getting stronger when it don't trigger you no more. But that takes meditation again, because you're bringing more light into your body so it can slowly keep altering you.
Yesterday I was walking on a
But if you give up meditation and you try to deal with your temptation, you don't have nothing coming.
What if during meditation, all you can think of is avocado?
Then you're not doing meditation.
And then you cannot meditate because you just think about avocado, avocado, avocado.
Well, you're manifesting avocado, so you might as well go manifest it. That's what you're doing.
Eat as many avocados.
See, that's what we're saying. Now listen, my meditations was good.
This works for me.
Now listen at
Eat
this.
as much you want till you hate it. Then you too much of anything is
You want to have fun on the journey. So I had fun with the avocados. I didn't beat myself up with them. So after I had fun and tasted the avocados, it was good, I had a good meditation. See, we ain't got to make it hard. You ain't said, I got to deny it. It's all in my head. Go have it. You can't fight it that bad. And then have a good, what we saying, don't let meditation go.
This is exactly how I overcome trauma.
You let meditation go, you defeated the whole purpose.
Yesterday someone put it on Facebook that
That's what expands your consciousness. Channeling light through the body. So you can hold more light. So you can achieve enlightenment. That's why they've been around for thousands of years, for a reason. It's just that some knows what it's for and some don't. Some benefit off of it, some don't. And that's your bread and butter, the vehicle to bring more cosmic energy into the body. And earth energy, anything you want to call it. Organ, life force energy, prana, chi. Now number 2, this is real key, and I want y'all to hear this one. This is what hurts people all the time. Create easy habits. Stop trying to get some stuff over your head. Especially on the breatharian journey. You're not going to fast your way into this. You've been eating all of your life. 30 years you've been eating. Hard, too. Then you're going to not eat again for the rest of your life in 2 weeks' time. And food is all around you, a drug. Create some easy habits. If you can't do a full day, do half a day. I told some girl that in Mumbai. She was so happy. I could do half a day? Yeah. And when she did it, she felt happy. Smile was on her face. And then it wasn't long before she called me and said I did a whole day. See how fast the body got up? I know I could do it now. But when you do something too big for you, and you fail, you done blew the whole thing. You got all that mental stuff to go through. Then you'll start blaming the system, start blaming the teachers, start blaming other people. Some people talk mess about me because they jealous they can't do it. Because they cut a goal out too big. They're not realizing I've been in this 20 years. I created little challenges for myself, step by step. I didn't put tape on my mouth. No angels came in the forest and talked to me. Nobody from the Galactic Council, no aliens. Let's nip it in the bud. That's not what happened to me. If that happened to them, fine. You know if they came to me, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to be taking selfies.
Some angel will come and like that.
Right.
But they have any photographic
Yeah,
proof?
something like that.
They have any photographs of proof?
Right. If we're in the age of the cell phone, I'm going to have
I
selfies.
just heard about that.
I'm going to be driving their spaceship around.
The spirit will go and
Yeah, I am. I might even get an alien girlfriend because I never had one before.
we are alien actually. Yeah, I can
She
have,
got
I
4
can say
arms.
that I had 5
Right.
friends in Goa. Yeah, I can now say that yeah, I had 6 with aliens. 5
Right.
aliens I found in Goa.
Oh, man.
Thank you. I think.
So create easy habits. Even on food. People struggle with food because they create a big diet change for themselves. You can't handle that. All that cooked food around you and you trying to go in there eating a salad. That ain't going to work out too good. How long that supposed to go? And they sitting there eating their salad, everybody else throwing down. They got a tear in their eye. I mean, it's not going to happen.
The spices and all the smell.
Right, the smell that hit them. Oh, man. You know what's about to happen. And then they beating up on themselves. They put this big... They didn't lose no weight. Like the one woman said, I mean, I'm intermittent fasting now, but in my mind, she weighed more than she did before. But that little space she was eating in, she made up for it. I mean, my God, 4 hours of some slamming. She was eating everything and would not stop. There we go again, missed the whole point. But I give her credit. At least she did not eat for 16 hours. That's what made her happy. You know, we had to tweak it from there. All right, cut down the portions now. You know you could go at least 16 hours. Now we need to work on that. You see where I'm at? It's user friendly. Everybody coming out where they from. Oh, man. This is where we at. So create easy habits for yourself. Once you do those easy victories, then you can start tweaking and upping your game. That's why I tell people all the time, I'm doing this and that. Why ain't the Breatharian yet? Well, how's your health? If you feel you could be healthier, this ain't nothing but like clay. You can bend this and shape it all types of ways. This ain't nothing but clay. We do it all the time, shape shifting. You want more oxygen? You want to make your lungs bigger? You can. More oxygen? All that good stuff. You know it's going to happen through repetition. Repetition is the way you change yourself. Now, oh man, here we go. Y'all going to love this one. This is what people love to hear. Use rewards. Use rewards for reinforcements. That's what they're for. To keep you on the path. You ain't strong enough yet. You're not a full light being yet. You don't love the light like that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. No, you don't. It hurts your eyes. It don't feel good. You can't handle being that light. You don't like that feeling all the time. So create some rewards for yourself. Just don't eat. What is your favorite food?
Rice.
You see, I didn't even eat rice yesterday.
Oh.
I don't have that actually.
But now it's different than before because you just ain't eating it in your own time. It's set up as a reward now.
We'll have it.
And the thing when you back up from the table and give yourself to back up for a minute and come back to eating, the food tastes so much different and you appreciate it. Even some woman said yesterday that when she went on the dry fast, it made her appreciate water.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Appreciate water. And then when you appreciate water, you start looking at juice. That's what my son said. It is the truth. Water ain't doing it no more. You want something a little deeper.
That's why dry fasting I never like because I just get I like juice.
Right. Then when you get the juice, you start looking at something else. That's why you somewhere along the line, you at least say, I won't take it past here. But rewarding yourself is what you should do to keep you on the path. You've been doing a good job to pat yourself on the back. You got to self-motivate yourself. Being harder on yourself isn't going to do nothing. All you're doing is what? Try to put something down that you know you like to do that's eventually going to bust up anyway. Then that's what it's going to get bad. It's going to turn out the way you didn't like. Let your body know, don't worry, you'll eat again, but right now we're going to do this. It's okay to say that. That's a program. You're going to eat again. I'm not starving you, but we got to go do this. It'll agree with you. Wow, it's just a kid. It's new to this world too. This is new to this world. Wow. Oh, man. Now listen at this. This is another good one. This goes hand in hand. Personal standards and personal limits. Gotta set that up. Personal standards and personal limits. So there's days you do gotta stand up for yourself. It's okay. Some people won't like it, but it's okay. Roll up your sleeves. You'll do this, but I'm not going that far. 1 minute. Like I like how you said. Do you see how much work I put on this body? That's what you had to tell him. I ain't going past that limit. I put too much work in to breathe like this, to feel like this. And you act like you're doing me a favor. I can't go that far. Thank you, but I ain't going that far. At least if it do happen, let me do it. It ain't going to be off of your choice to make you happy.
Yeah,
You got to put people in check.
I was having full cooked meal, then one girl came to me and asked, oh, I thought you were raw. No, I'm not now. I am, but not now.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you was raw. I'm not now.
That's why I never say
Okay, I'm not raw now.
People.
Oh, man.
You know,
And you want to set these limits on yourself,
yes, I am now.
not real harsh,
I'm just free.
but it holds you accountable.
Yeah.
You need to hold yourself accountable. So this ain't even dealing with other people.
Very important. Otherwise, you cannot trust yourself.
Other than that, you can't trust yourself. You need to hold yourself accountable.
That's it.
So set your limits on yourself on how far you'll take it, what you're dealing with. At least I knew what foods I liked, and that's what I was dealing with. I threw it on the table. Everything else I don't need. But even on that, I had a limit. I went from 5 avocados to 3.
Yeah.
You understand? So I was satisfied.
All these things like make our journey very easy.
Hmm.
Not being.
Right. This helps on your discipline. See, even your discipline, that sounds like a harsh word, but when you find out it's a disciple, a follower of the light, and you want to be fun on your path, you are what? Just transforming yourself to be that. Shouldn't be hard. You ain't set this rigid thing on you. Oh man, now here's another one. Look ahead. Look ahead. Somebody once said, hindsight is everything. Look ahead. Now what that means is, now we know the power of being in the present moment. Eckhart Tolle's got a good book dealing with that is awesome. Being in the present moment. A lot of people can't even hold that frequency. Being in the past, we know what that could cause. Especially if you keep going back in trauma. Then they say you ought to get your head out of the future so much. However, we say that. But we are creatures by our nature that we do make plans for ourselves all the time. So you got to start looking ahead on this journey, on how you at least want to be. Not a hard goal, but start looking ahead. Like I like y'all testimonies this morning on how y'all was feeling the vibration from doing something to not doing something, and how you feeling this morning and stuff. And I had to bring in mind that I've been through that so many times. The reason why I didn't eat nothing last night because I was looking ahead of how I know I could feel in the morning. So yeah, I saw the future. Can your third eye see the future? Yep. I saw myself.
You know what is going to be.
You know what's going to be. It ain't got to be spooky or nothing no more. You know where your actions going to lead you because you know universal laws. And I like how she said one time how, man, if I would have ate that, my body would have been a certain way for a couple of days. You looked ahead. You saw the future.
Yeah, and this would stop me from it.
And that's what stopped her. Learn to start looking ahead more often. You know where that's going. Man, this is good. A disciple.
Same with getting into relationships.
You'd have read my mind. Same to getting into relationships. Look ahead. You know where that's going. You can see it. Okay, y'all having a good conversation now. I don't mean like it's going to be like that every day. It's just for that moment. The music is good. The mood is good. Okay, y'all having a good conversation. You ain't got... All right, we ain't going to get into that. You looked ahead.
But something dawned on me as well. Also, if you're improving yourself constantly and updating yourself, you're not the same person.
You're not the
that
same
you
person.
met that person in that
Exactly.
relationship. So it's not even fair to the other person because you're
Right.
right. You're transforming. So how can you? It's not possible. No?
She said it's not even fair for the other person. See, all relationships are selfish. You might as well hit it on the head. And when you are in a cycle of constantly working on yourself, and especially when the other person's not, it's not even fair on them because y'all not going to be vibing anymore, wanting to share the same frequency because we're always changing. That's just the way it is. The rhythm's off. You're outgrowing them. And then sometimes we say, well, how about if you meet somebody who's working on themselves, where everybody still ain't on the same level? It's the truth. They still ain't on the same level. Some people think if they attach somebody on themselves to somebody who's more advanced, that's going to help them be more advanced. You're going to make them go backwards for you to keep up. Whether we like to admit it or not, somebody's going to take a hit. They are. We just being real with it. This is why we're in the disciple levels now. So master the physical body, the emotional and mental, then after that comes the disciple role. Now disciple, I'm going to show you what that is out in the work world. Have you ever been to a job or something where you got the supervisor or whatever, or the foreman who knows their job is to know that job, know that business. That's why they're in charge. But there's this employee who knows just as much, and they can run the place if they want to. And sometimes people will say, won't you be supervisor? Won't you be manager? And they'll probably say, no, I don't want them to be. Because I don't want the responsibility to go along with it. I just want to come in and come out and leave. Because when you're the supervisor, they usually have to be the first one there, the last one to leave. If something goes wrong, they're taking all the hit. So there's pluses and all this other stuff depending on what type of job you're doing in life. It is. Sometimes it ain't worth being in charge. So there's some people out in the world, they got a lot of knowledge. They ain't got no title as master or nothing. They could be, but they don't want the responsibility to go with it. Whole nother ball game. So that's why, again.
Every time I got promotion in the job I was leaving.
Right.
Every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
But again, it's an employee who knows some things. So on a spiritual path, you do got to know some things. This is education. But remember how we said that definition before? A disciple is a person that started out as a believer, but they decided to start exercising their faith. So we were literally woke up in the morning, put in the time and effort to come to the beach and work on our mind. Many people ain't even thinking that. We worked on our mind just to start out the day. Didn't have to. There were so many other options we could have did in life. Went straight to what? Brunch, inflammation, woke up at noon. So many other things.
Sundays when many people were,
But we brought more light through the body. That's what we did.
when I was like in my 10 on Sunday,
Just in the mind, this is Sunday.
Sundays I sleep there.
It's created by the system.
But the key to this is the self-discipline part. Again, it's one thing to be with the group, but carry the practice and get stronger by yourself, and that one key should help us. Don't give yourself a practice or a time that you can't handle. Grow into it little by little so you can get stronger. So some people, do I meditate an hour a day? Are you used to meditating an hour? Well, no. You ain't going to do it an hour a day. You just talking.
Okay, is there any limit for like, not limit, but how much we should do meditation?
Oh yeah, minimum, and I usually tell them 20
Okay.
minutes.
And
But there's some schools that I'll tell you 10 minutes. If a person ain't used to sitting with themselves, everybody's different.
In pyramid meditation, like I know one woman who works out there, and she says that for beginners, like the meditation time is your age.
Yeah, go up your age. There's many schools of thought.
So mine's 16 then.
normally,
If you are 16,
60.
16, not
1
16.
6. Got it.
That's why I'm amazing. Why 60?
She's kidding, man.
I'm just doing.
And see, this right here is a new knowledge. Everything we talk, we knew about. This just reminding you. Now, this is the thing I got dealing with weight loss. This is,
Was it only 5 keys to discipleship?
yeah, 5 keys to discipleship. See, that's not even a whole lot, is it?
No.
It's just little simple stuff. It's all simple. We make it harder than what it really is. We even think when the Breatharian knowledge came out there was some secret mantra. It gotta be something different. No, it's not. It was stuff that you were already doing. It's just that everybody else was seeking other things in life instead of working on themselves. The knowledge never left. The minds of the people left the knowledge. Oh, did I say that? The knowledge never left. The minds of the people left the knowledge. That's like saying God left. God never left. God was still in the garden. The consciousness of Adam left. So we can't see him no more. But when you find out it never left, the garden never left. This is the Garden of Eden right now. Or it's in some other place. No, it's not. It's just that your eyesight changed.
And but that's kind of like, if you go to the scriptures and stuff, especially in Mark and John, he's always talking about how there's a parallel world
Right.
to this world.
Right.
And just by raising your vibration, you're kind of in that parallel world all the time, which
Look
is the
what she
kingdom of
said.
heaven, no?
Look what she said. The parallel world is this other world. And we'll be talking about this. Even in science, they be saying there's other dimensions, parallel worlds. And they somewhere like it's somewhere else. They're on top of each other. But it's when your perception changes.
Even now we are in completely different
Yeah.
Right.
reality.
Yeah.
It's your perception that changes the world. So it's just like when I was growing up, I heard about vegetarians. But ain't no use to be making friends with them, want none. We ain't gonna never go out to eat. Serious. But when I decided to change my diet and become a vegan, somebody hit me with that. That's when I started meeting vegans. They was already there. I didn't see them before. And then there was a whole vegan community not even far from me. I didn't see them before. That was in another dimension. Then when I stayed there for a while, it's decided to go with live and raw foods. More organic and stuff like that. It wasn't long before I met other people who were live and raw foods, organic, and they was already in that area. I didn't see them before. We wouldn't even been friends. Now I ran into them and saw them. Then when I started learning energy work and meditation, I didn't know nobody who meditated and do energy work until I saw them. And then I met all these people doing energy work, meditating, had these different groups. I learned all my healing. That's where I learned it from. It was there on top of dimensions. Then when I learned about the breatharian knowledge, oh, most definitely I'm the only one, right? It wasn't long before somebody tracked me down. Hey, we want you to do this interview. And I start seeing all these other breatharians, food planet people on the planet. Who is that? They exist. And then pretty soon I'm going somewhere else and I'm meeting other ones and we all talking on the same stage with each other. It wasn't until you tapped into the dimension unfolded. And they're on top of each other. Whoa! So now we're talking immortality, right?
Right.
You're going to start meeting the immortals. Or you be the immortal. That's what it's about. People who's... I was just talking about immortality. They met you. I was laughing one time when a friend of mine was looking for some immortals. We was out there somewhere here in India. And I'm sitting there on the rock because I already knew the knowledge. I said, you already found them, dummy. But they looking for something else, you know, or the book they read. I'm sitting right in front of you. They're like, I wonder where they at. But you ain't even have to enlighten their mind. We just left. That was the confirmation for me. That's why I was there.
Yeah.
I'm looking for an immortal. Me and them is way out there, and I'm looking at them. They didn't know. That's the knowledge we're on. You're the immortal right now. You got to think that. That's why I got to do a teaching on Enoch. For Enoch to be caught up like that, he already knew who he was.
Yeah.
That's all it is. If you don't know, it's not going to manifest. How you supposed to die? What you supposed to die from? Diabetes? High blood pressure? We don't even know. Cancer? You don't even know, do you? It don't have to happen. That's for the lower vibrational people who's catering on that dimension. That's a dimensional thought. Wow. And it's real to some people. It's happening. It's taking place. And we're somewhere else. In the same world, but dimensions on top of each other. That's why I saw a new heaven and a new earth. Somebody's mind opened up, their body changed. And they was just walking around in heaven. I was in Mumbai just now, busy city. One of the biggest populations in India. But I was in heaven when I was there. I was walking down the street, waving to people, petting the dogs, looking at the cats, smiling at the rats. That's what it was. You was in heaven. That's all you see. And I'm God and everybody else is God. That's a dimensional thought. People will try to get mad too. Why are you saying he's God? Like I'm supposed to back up. It wasn't going to happen. That's my actualization, my realization. Why should I? I'm not doing it to try to make you mad. You God too. You just don't know it.
They wouldn't have a problem if you called yourself something negative.
If I call myself negative, you wouldn't have a problem with it. He changed his name to... I ain't going to even say no negative names. Here we go.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pitiful just to think of, try to think about it. I couldn't even do it. Oh man, but this is good again. The disciple levels. And then after the disciple, of course, you got, oh man, the master levels.
Can I just ask you one more thing? What did you so Satan was made up of 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 what?
Neutrons.
Thank you.
Yep, that's our molecule. 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. 666. Carbon. Carbon is one of the most abundant, besides hydrogen.
Light-holding devices.
Light-holding
storing
devices, storing energy. Because when we look at coal is stored light. And we're stored light. All we're doing, you're 100 degrees inside, all you're doing is, you're really not gaining energy. You're harmonizing it, making it more subtle, and unleashing it. It's coming off you. That's why everybody's glowing. Everybody glows. Some people just glowing more than others. Some people the lights is on and nobody's home.
Some people are home and the lights ain't on.
Right, some people's home and the lights is not on. Some real stuff. It's all right though. But if you don't pay your light bill, you're going to be evicted. And that's what death is.
If you don't pay your light bill, you're going to be a victim.
Right, you're going to get evicted.
You're going to get evicted.
Oh my God, that is so
I
bad.
can,
And nature goes off, yeah, it deals with finances. It's another currency. Its currency is energy. If it don't get its energy, you're going to get evicted. So when you feel different aches and pains and sicknesses, that's just the landlord saying, hey, your bill's due.
Yeah.
When you going to pay up? Happened to me. My weight was going up, high blood pressure was going up. I was ready to be evicted, and I knew it. I better make some changes. I better go make that new hustle and learn how this currency works. Get off my lazy butt. Right. Literally. Oh man, this is what we talk about. So the Breatharian journeys is you really know currency exchange. You're not even going bankrupt. You just keeping it flowing constantly. That's your life-giving source. Wow. Here we go. This is good, ain't it? Now we got another meditation. We might as well go ahead and keep blasting it. Now we're going to go up to 50 with the dial. I know what 20 feel like. We're going to go up to 50. All right, hope y'all got something out of this.